yeah, I love that analogy. I'm totally stealing that.
Okay, it's yours. Copyright, Joe Quattrone.
I will TM it every time I say it.
You could JQ it.
I'll JQ it.
Today's guest redefines what it means to lead with purpose and to have a little fun breaking the rules along the way. A designer, a professor, a boundary pusher. As the founder of Against, Jennie Myers leads a collective of thinkers, makers, and rebels who believe business and social impact go hand in hand. Jennie, welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
We're so glad to have you here.
So happy to be here.
When did you decide that you had a knack for design?
My mom put my macaroni art on the fridge, but that was my biggest champion up until that point was my mom telling me I was good at art. I was always artistic, but I think it took somebody else to point it out. I enrolled at Boise State, passing the time until I had kids. I declared graphic design as a major. The professor that I had, his name is Bob Winward, say his name. He's an amazing human being. He would always reference my work when he was pointing out things that were done well, and on the side would encourage me and challenge me and push me to take things further. Up until that point, I had believed that my only purpose in life was to get married and have kids. That was the trajectory that I was on. I didn't think that there was any other option for me. It wasn't anything I considered at all. And that's when I realized, okay, maybe I actually can do something different with my life.
That's really, really fascinating and powerful that creativity was a catalyst for dramatic life change. What would you say defined your look as a young, budding creative?
It was definitely inspired by Swiss style design. I went on an international summer program to Switzerland and studied design there for a summer. It's interesting because I can tell it's definitely something that I've passed down. And even though my aesthetics or style has changed, there are some core principles that have remained the same.
What are those?
There's always an air towards minimalism, things that are a little bit off balance.
How's color play a role?
The decisions that I'm making are definitely strategic and definitely thoughtful. I don't have a systematic, this is the way I approach working with color. I really do try and ground it in the story of the brand. It has to make sense. It has to come from something. You can't just pull it out of nowhere. But I think that about every aspect of everything I'm working on. Every single design decision that's being made has to have some rationale.
You've always been curious about everything. You've been pretty fearless. What has shaped that? Do you know?
As humans, our natural reaction is to be judgmental, right? I mean, you can't tell somebody, don't judge a book by its cover, don't be judgmental. We just are. The way that we navigate the world is to look for patterns. And when something steps outside of that pattern, we want to bang it back in. Rather than being judgmental about something and instead be curious about it. Why did somebody do that? Why did they say that? Why did they behave that way? That is such a more productive approach to life. And it helps you be a much more creative person. If you limit yourself to the things that you believe or your point of view or your perspective, that's very narrow.
So you and I worked together for a lot of years as younger creatives. Back then, my approach to creating campaigns and concepts was to sit in a room, drink lots of Mountain Dew, and beat my head against the wall until ideas just came on a sketch pad. You figured out a way to study it, learn it, compartmentalize it, and then reteach it, which is amazing because I know you teach courses now and have developed curriculum on concept development and creativity in general. And what got you to the point where you said, I want to figure this out and learn more and do more with my curiosity about creativity?
I've always loved teaching. It's always been something that gives me a lot of joy and purpose. And I recognized that there was this gap between the skills that someone had when they came out of university and on day one. They theoretically knew it, but they couldn't do the thing. So that was the goal, was to try and fill that gap. My first class was creative concepting. Okay, well, how do you teach somebody to concept?
Right.
With creativity, you can't schedule it. There's not a recipe. There's not a methodology. And then I had the added challenge of teaching creative concepting to non-creative people. I have students from criminal justice and nursing and engineering, every major across campus. And how do you not jump to the first idea that you have? How do you think about a lot of divergent ideas? How do you hold something loosely? How do you not fall in love with the things that you've created? How do you collaborate? It was teaching people those types of skills And so the task or the goal was to expose a much broader audience to the power and importance of creative problem solving. Because I really believe that those capabilities are going to give anyone a competitive advantage, regardless of what job they have. I think creativity is one of the most important human strengths. And it's the very thing that's gonna help you figure out what the when you don't know what the and there's a lot of like what the that's happening right now. I just said a lot, so.
What do you try and impart to young, wide-eyed creatives specifically?
One is to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, that nothing good is gonna come from not challenging yourself, that everyone is just as capable of coming up with a brilliant idea, and as a creative person, you have to love feedback. You have to seek feedback because if we get too close to something, then the more time we spend working on it, we fall in love. I need feedback because I can't tell anymore.
Yeah, and when you take the people out of the equation, it makes it about the work. So everybody can just like push on it. We can, like, it's easier to be honest. We work at different agencies. Arguably, we're competing agencies, which is kind of weird that we're sitting talking together today, but it's actually not weird because you have a very different philosophy and mission at Against. So tell us about the vision for Against when you guys started it.
I spent the majority of my career worried about doing really badass work. And then I started to question, okay, well now who am I doing this good work for? Working in advertising, we have an incredible impact on culture and people. We have a responsibility to be conscientious of the impact that we're having. So that really was the impetus for Against, was just wanting my own autonomy to pick clients, create the very best place that anybody could ever work, to work with good companies who were doing good things. And so that's been the focus.
As creatives, we often feel like misfits, kind of raising our freak flags. What is our calling in the world?
To challenge the status quo, to see things differently, to see things that other people don't see. We excel in chaos, and the world has got a lot of chaos. And it is people who are comfortable with ambiguity, comfortable in the unknown, and those are creative people. So that.
Why is art essential to business?
I'm gonna get way too philosophical. Art is connected to humanity. It's something that humans create. It can tell story. And business is the operations of the world. We don't need business, but we need art.
I think we should end there.
Okay.
Thanks for making us all better.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.